Everybody. Well, no, those are coming from this system.
Let's go, Kosh.
Yeah, just the two of you. Hold on. Kill that omen. Make it jump. Point up the damnation, but I want them to jump in before we do this. The omen jump. Here they are. Okay.
Ones on the wall side have not jumped yet.
Are they firing? Are they firing yet?
I just jumped.
No.
Yeah, what?
Okay,
jumped
all
in the
in.
pool.
Everybody get here. Camilla, come everywhere. First primary is Dazer Emolite in the Armageddon. Dazer Emolite's Armageddon is the first primary. And then Nortel's Abaddon because it's a half armor, right? Get Dazer Emolite. Jam the Guardians.
Guardians are too far off.
Uruk needs
Kept out.
rep.
Keep your green
Kept
promise.
out.
Dazer is primary. Nortel is secondary. I'm a half armor, guys.
Yeah, we just jumped down.
Are you on Kamala Gate? Houla Gate.
Huola Gate.
Huola
Dazer's
Gate.
primary. Secondary. I'm going down.
Kept them out, dudes.
Flying Hot Pocket is tertiary. It's a Geddon and the Abaddon that's already half dead, and then the Typhoon. I'm in structure.
Take call promise. Two dead.
Primary again.
Nortel is primary. Get that Abaddon down. I'm going down.
Get the cap chain up, cap chain up.
Who's secondary?
Flying Hot Pocket, but I'm down. Somebody else has to call.
Nortel's primary. Flying Hot Pocket second. Nortel's primary. Flying Hot Pocket and Typhoon. Flying Hot Pocket and Typhoon is primary now. Flying Hot Pocket and a Typhoon. Flying Hot Pocket and a Typhoon is primary. Lock up Flying Spoon Badger and a Dominic. Flying Spoon Badger and a Dominance. FLY. Flying Spoon. The Flying Pocket's primary in a Typhoon. Flying Pocket's primary in a Typhoon.
I'm coming back, so keep calling.
Flying Spoon and a Dominix is secondary. Flying Spoon and a Dominix is secondary. Lock up Check Mac in a Typhoon. Check Mac. Flying Spoon is now primary in a Dominic. Flying Spoon and a Dominix is primary. Flying in a Dominic. Secondary is CZE. CZE in a Typhoon. Lock up MITA in an Armageddon. Third tertiary. Primary is Flying in a Dominix. Primary is Flying in a Dominic. FLY in a Dominix. Primary target. Secondary CZE in a Typhoon. CZE in a Typhoon secondary. Flying Spoon. FLY. FLY in a Dominic. Still primary. It's going in structure. FLY primary. Ready to switch to CZE in a Typhoon. Get ready to switch. CZE 9 is not primary. CZE in a Typhoon primary. CZE in a Typhoon is primary, followed by MITA in a Geddon. MITA in a Geddon is secondary. Lock up Snape, SNAP in a Typhoon. Lock up SNAP in a Typhoon. CZE in a Typhoon is primary, followed by MIT in a Geddon is secondary. MIT in a Geddon is secondary. CZE is Typhoon's primary. MITA in a Geddon now primary. MITA in a Geddon now primary. MITA in a Geddon is primary. Snape in a Typhoon is secondary. SNAP is secondary. Lock up HELA. Helena in a Helena Vexor in an Armageddon is tertiary. MITA in a Geddon still primary. SNAPE in a Typhoon is secondary. Helena in a Geddon is tertiary. Lock up Snape. Snape is now primary target. Snape. SNAPE in a primary is Typhoon is primary. Lock up BADA in a Geddon. Lock up BADA. Secondary target is HELE. Secondary target is HELE in a Geddon. HELE in a Geddon is secondary. SNAPE is primary. Snape and a Typhoon get ready to go down. Get ready to switch to Helena. Helena is not primary. HELE in a Geddon is primary. HELE in a Geddon is primary, followed by BABA in a Geddon. BABA in a Geddon is secondary. H-E-L-E and again is primary, followed by B-A-B-A and again is secondary. Lock up the Dominics of M-I-R-V. Lock up the Dominics of M-I-R-V. B-A-B-A is now primary. B-A-B-A and again is now primary. B-A-B-A and again is primary, followed by M-I-R-V in a Dominics. M-I-R-V in a Dominic secondary. B-A-B-A in a Armageddon is primary. B-A-B-A in a Armageddon is primary. Lock up the Typhoon of S-H-A-M. Lock up the Typhoon of S-H-A-M. Shamrock is tertiary. B-A-B-A is primary still, and again, secondary is M-I-R-V in a Dominics. B-A-B-A still primary, getting ready to go into structure. Primary is now M-I-R-V. M-I-R-V. M-I-R-V and a Dominics is now primary, followed by Shamrock in a Typhoon is secondary. Shamrock and a Typhoon is secondary. Lock up G-E-R-I in a Typhoon is tertiary. M-I-R-V and a Dominics is still primary, followed by Shamrock and a Foon secondary. Now primary Shamrock. S-H-A-M. S-H-A-M and a Typhoon is primary. G-E-R-I and a Typhoon is secondary. G-E-R-I and a Typhoon is secondary. Lock up the Abaddon of B-A-R-M. Lock up the Abaddon of B-A-R-M. He's tertiary. Shamrock's down. G-E-R-I and the Typhoon's primary. G-E-R-I now primary. G-E-R-I and a Typhoon is primary, followed by B-A-R-M in a Abaddon.
Bumps guys, AD aggressing.
Spread points, spread points.
Spread points, guys. G-E-R-I is primary, followed by B-A-R-M in a Abaddon. Lock up A-R-R in a Abaddon. Lock up A-R-R in a Abaddon. He's tertiary. Okay, R. Lock everything up. Primary is B-A-R-M. B-A-R-M.
Should overload.
Overload on B-A-R-M. Overload on B-A-R-M. He's down or jumped.
Guys, good
Perfect
fight.
guys.
Good job, guys. Start scooping the loot, guys. Start scooping the loot.
Their guardians were kept out.
Good job, guys.
We get the stuff.
I don't know who
I
else
had
had newts on
most
them, but
of
I was
them,
doing the
Jane.
crap out of them.
I was newting the shit out of them too.
Yep.
I had 6 newts on him.
We had so many newts on those guardians. I was throwing some newts on Baden.